Living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, 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 love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dream. Living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, living life is gangsta. Hey, hey.
I'm always messing up this technology. But hey, y'all, happy Mindset Monday and welcome to Living Life with Stae. And it is Monday. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Casey. Thank you so much for tuning in. And everybody who is on Facebook, let me just go ahead and give the little disclaimer. StreamYard really isn't playing with Facebook now because I got a notification stating that, hey, Dawn, that we can no longer stream to my 15 to Life group. So I'm going to have to figure out something else. I guess I can still share it there, but the best thing for everybody to do is to hop over to YouTube and to join and subscribe to the YouTube channel because that is where I am mainly streaming to. That's the main source for this. But yeah, Facebook, these platforms can be very competitive with one another, and they want to kind of keep all your content on one platform. And so they'll do little things sometimes to kind of make it difficult for you to be on all the platforms at one time. So when I was getting the live ready earlier this morning, it was like, you can no longer stream to your group. And I'm like, what? I've been streaming to my group. So before, it was just making it difficult to see the comments in different groups or, on different platforms. But now it'll let me stream to my main page on Facebook, to a profile page, but it won't let me stream to a group. So I apologize, but I need y'all over on YouTube anyway. So if you're not already on YouTube and subscribe, please go ahead and do so. And for anyone who is new to the channel, I am Stae Hall. I am a life coach, L.Y.F.E, Love Yourself First Explicitly. And I help people to be able to operate at their highest level of excellence and show up every single day, feeling great about themselves, and teaching them that the structure for any true success, any true love, any true happiness in life is having that ability to love yourself. You can't truly love anyone else or truly feel true success and joy if you don't love yourself first. I'm also a soft skills and emotional intelligence coach and expert. I am a transformational speaker as well as a published author of 3 books with number 4 on its way in 2024. So that is who I am for anyone who is new. Good evening, Grammys. Good evening, Dolores. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Y'all, I think I am finally acclimated to being back home. I think I'm finally getting my energy back, finally getting my footing. Hey, Janet, finally just feeling like myself because it was a rough, transition. I was so exhausted when I got home. And for those of y'all who tuned in yesterday, y'all already know the crazy story of my trip and everything. But I'm feeling back to myself, and good thing because tomorrow I have business as usual. I've had a pretty easy couple of days, just a few meetings, but starting tomorrow, it's back off to the races. And then I will be on the road on another trip on Thursday, and I'll be gone for about 4 days. But this trip, I'll be going to go visit my sister. My nephew is going to the prom, and a lot of you all got to meet my sister on here talking about her book, which I happen to have sitting right here. Why is everything so loud? Thank you guys for an awesome launch for her. But she will be having a table at the Autism Awareness Walk in Mobile, Alabama. My nephew's also going to the prom, and so I'll be there for a fun-filled weekend, just enjoying them and some family quality time. So yeah, I am. So yeah, this is the paper version, and it is now available on Amazon. So you can just look up Margot H. Towner or Why Is Everything So Loud? And so it officially launched. So the day we were talking to you all about the book, that was the launch of the ebook, and it was complimentary at the time, but now the book is there, and I think it's only $12.99. So hey Tim, hey Tori, thank you all so much for being here. But yeah, so I'm going to go visit her. So this will be another big weekend for them as we round out Autism Awareness Month. So cool. Donovan's going to be getting to go to the prom. So y'all know I'll be vlogging while I'm there. Hey, Beverly, how are you? You know what? I don't know what the age is for this. It's a children's book. But I would say elementary school age. That's a good question. I don't know if she has it on here, but I would say elementary school age. But it's a real cool book about Jackson, who is an autistic little boy and just, going through some of his struggles with sensory issues and things like that. So yeah, I would definitely say elementary. And it's an awesome book for kids who might be dealing with some of the same things, to let them know that they're not alone, as well as for siblings of autistic or special needs children, other students who come in contact and, share space with children with special needs, just to teach them that empathy and all of that. So yeah, she's going to have a table at the Autism Awareness Walk. So I'm going to go ahead and go there and spend that time. Yes, Beverly. I knew that. So yeah, it would be awesome for him. Awesome for him. This is definitely a very cool book. And it just, shows the things that he experiences. And it's something that you don't see a lot, with the superheroes, with the children's book, with all of that. We want to make sure that everybody is represented. And so I really am proud of my sister for this. And this is the first of many. So, hey, Tampa, thank you so much for being here. And so, y'all, today we are going to talk about, let me check on Facebook, make sure I'm getting everybody. Okay, so it looks like it's pulling the people over from Facebook. I just want to make sure. But again, if you're on Facebook and you're not already subscribed to my channel on YouTube, please go ahead and do that. We are growing. I think I'm up to like 663 subscribers now. The channel is really growing. The tribe is really growing. And y'all know my goal on this platform is to reach as many people as I can with the message of self-love. And so that's what we want to do. But today we have a topic, unlike yesterday where we was just chitting and chatting because your girl was still trying to acclimate to being home. But today we actually have a topic, and we are going to be diving into the topic of overcoming procrastination. And I know I'm not the only person who has struggled with procrastination a time or two. Hey, Tim, I don't know if I said hi to you. I think I did, but hey, anyway, there's no harm in speaking twice. But, let me see. Does your sister do meet and greets? I work with someone who, you know what? I need to be reading these comments, y'all. Does your sister do meet and greets? I work with someone who has a group for kids on the spectrum to help their parents. I think this. Oh, yeah, she does do meet and greets. She does. Yeah, she's going to be doing something soon with an organization. Of course, I can't remember the name of the organization, but yeah, she's going to be doing some things soon. And I think some PTAs are going to be bringing her in as well. So yeah, y'all know my contact information is always in the description box. So if you want to reach out to me, and Dolores, I know I owe you an email back too, Dolores. You emailed me right before I went out of town. So, definitely. Tampa, and that's fine. I see you in the bushes, girl. I just appreciate you being here. And y'all excuse that rattling in the back. Wallace is getting Lux's food together. They was just outside. So, it's life, right? This is live TV. So anyway, we're going to be talking about procrastination today, because I know that I'm not the only one who has struggled with procrastination from time to time. And just like everything else that we talk about, if you deal with, anxiety, procrastination, depression, straight up laziness, whatever it is from time to time, that's completely normal. That's completely healthy. None of us are perfect. All of us need our downtime every once in a while. All of us have our off days. That's fine. It's just that when something becomes a way of life for you, or you've noticed that you have something going on and you just can't fight your way out of it. That's when it becomes an issue, which is still fine because we all have issues from time to time. But that's when you might want to tap into getting some help, digging deeper, trying to figure out what it is. And so something that I've dealt with back to back with a few life coaching clients of mine recently is they have really been struggling with procrastination, and they're just not sure why. So they have their goals, there's things that they desire to do, but they just haven't been able to make it happen. And they're not really sure what it is. They keep putting it off. And you know, that old thing with, I'll do it Monday, which is always funny to me why people like to put things off until Monday. And it's Monday today. But if I didn't do it today, I'll put it off Monday, when it's like, well, there is a such thing as tomorrow. There is a such thing as later today. You don't have to write the whole week off just because you messed up today. And if you find yourself always putting things off till Monday, always putting things off till next weekend, having these goals and wanting to do things and never seeming to quite be able to do them, then that means you might actually have an issue with procrastination that is bigger than just that, I'm not feeling it today. And so with me dealing with it with my life coaching clients, I figured that, you know, if I have more than 2 people who are mentioning something to me and it's a serious issue, then there's probably somebody in the tribe who's dealing with the same thing. And so y'all have the privilege, those of you who are in the tribe, subscribe to the channel and all of that, getting the info for free 99. So I work it out with them and then I bring it to y'all. But you also know that you have the opportunity to work with me one-on-one to take deeper dives in some of this stuff. But I love sharing this information with you all on this platform as well. And so with procrastination, one of the main things that you have to think about, what did you say, Janet? Yeah, yesterday grew into a whole support group session. I know, right? Yesterday was good. Yesterday was really good. Wallace and I were talking about it last night, and that's what I'm here for. And I love the fact that y'all trust me enough to come to me with those things. Like, that's what makes it all worthwhile. And it just confirms for me that I'm definitely doing what I'm supposed to do. So y'all help me as much as I help y'all, if not more. I don't have content with 608 supporters, just an avid supporter. I love that. I love that, Tim. And that's, we need you. I love that. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is, if you find yourself struggling with procrastination, yes, absolutely. We are definitely family, definitely. You have to first ask yourself that whatever it is that you are procrastinating about, is it something that you truly are interested in doing? Now, if you find yourself where you just procrastinate about everything, we'll talk about that later. But the first thing I want to talk about is examining the fact of whether or not you really want to do whatever it is you're procrastinating about. Because, hey, Jamie, how are you? Because enjoy your dinner, girl. I'm going to eat when I get off. I have not eaten yet today. But you want to figure that out. Hey, Tamika, thank you for being here. You want to figure that out because we do have the right to change our mind, right? And so there may have been something that seemed like a great idea at the time. It's something that you felt like you wanted to do. You were really interested in doing it. And now time has gone by, and for whatever reason, you haven't started whatever this thing is, whatever this project is. So whether it's maybe writing a book, because that's something I've done and something that we just talked about recently. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's moving into a new home, you know, wanting to do something different, whatever it is, losing weight, even whatever it is, wanting to exercise. I know I was on the whole, you know, training for a marathon at one time. And there are things that at one point in time in our life, with the situation that we were in on whatever day that was, that this thing, this project seemed like a good idea. And so we set out to do it, and life be life. And, you know, we love to say that these days, life be life, and things happen. And you never really got into it. Maybe you started whatever the thing was, but things kept happening and you never finished it, or you really never got deep into it, and you still kind of feel like it's hanging over your head and you're kind of kicking yourself because you're like, I said I was going to do this and I really need to do this, but for whatever reason or reasons, I haven't done it. Cut yourself some slack in that moment and take a time out to think about it again and reevaluate and decide if it's even something you still want to do. Because if it's not something that you still want to do, that's okay. Just because you wanted to do it yesterday, last week, or 6 months ago doesn't mean that it still has to be a priority for you today. And so you can right off the bat stop beating yourself up, stop kicking yourself, stop being hard on yourself for not completing something that you're no longer even interested in. And I think sometimes we just feel like we have to do things just because we said we were going to do them. And sometimes some of us even grew up in that household. Look, you said you were going to do this, so you have to do it. You said you wanted to play the violin, so you're not quitting the violin. You're going to stick to it. And there's something to be said about teaching commitment. There's something to be said about teaching that stick-to-itiveness. Absolutely. But there's also something to be said about being able to have the liberty to change your mind, being able to maybe start something and realize it's not really what you thought it was, and you might want to do something different. Because what I know for sure is there have been plenty of things that I've gotten involved in that maybe I didn't stick to, but they led me to a next thing, which may have led me to a next thing, which then got me to that thing that I was really passionate about. And so it just depends. It's not always, oh, you're such a quitter. Sometimes we legitimately just change our minds, and that's okay. And that's why I want to offer you that option that if you find yourself procrastinating about something, just take a moment to reevaluate it and figure out whether it's something that's still important to you or not. Because if it's not, it's okay. Let me see. Tim says, I used to be a huge procrastinator. Now I pull the trigger on anything I see needs to be done or bought. Yeah. And that's the thing. There's different ways we procrastinate. Sometimes it's little stuff, like as simple as needing to change the light bulb in the refrigerator. And other times it's bigger projects and bigger tasks that are going to take a lot more of our time. And so we have to weigh that out. Oh, thanks, Bev. I appreciate that. We have to weigh that out because, again, it may have seemed good at the time and now it's not. And so that's the first thing that I want you to be able to evaluate. Now, if you evaluate this task, this project, and you feel like it's something that you do really want to do, and you feel like it's something that's important to you, you're still interested, then the next thing I want you to look at is, have you bit off more than you can chew? And not to say you bit off more than you can chew in that you'll never be able to reach that goal, but have you allowed yourself to become overwhelmed? Have you decided, like me when I was trying to run that marathon, did you decide to run the marathon and think that you were just going to get up and right off the bat start running 5 miles a day? And you tried that a couple of days in a row and absolutely hated it, and now you never run again. You might want to look at the whole project, the whole task, the whole undertaking, and start to break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces, realizing the old cliche or old adage, old saying, whatever it's called, that Rome wasn't built in a day. Just because you've decided to do something doesn't mean that you have to get it all accomplished now. And maybe you're going to have to look at it in sections instead of just this one big task, because being overwhelmed can be frightening and it can cause us to give up. Being overwhelmed can cause us to have all of our energy drained from us before we even get started. It's like deciding to learn a new language and going to the library and getting a book that's written in all Chinese and just trying to figure it out on your own. You're never going to be able to do that. And so if you decide that it's something you want to do, then just look at, did I plan for this? What was my plan for this? Because a lot of times we shut down just because we don't have the tools and resources. It's like, I really want to do this, but I don't even know how to get started. So instead of doing my research to figure out how to get started, instead of enlisting some help to get started, instead of, making a plan, I'm just like, you know what? Why did I even say I was going to do this? I can't do it. I'll get started tomorrow. I'm just going to put it on the back burner when nothing is getting done. Whereas if you would break it down into smaller pieces, break your one goal up into several goals, then you would see that you can, in fact, achieve it. It's just going to take time. It's going to take planning, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't be hard on yourself if at first you decided that you were going to do this thing and I'm just going to jump in there. Because a lot of things that we want to do, right? We're interested in them. We're excited about them, all the things. And so you just feel like, oh, this is going to be easy. I'm going to have so much fun doing this. It's going to be easy. It's going to be simple. It's going to be a piece of cake. I'm going to be able to lose this 25 pounds in 1 week. They said, all I got to do is stop eating sugar and carbs, right? And so you stop eating sugar and carbs for a week and you only lose 1 pound. And now you decide, I'm not going to do it anymore, when most things are a process. And I've talked about this time and time again. There are normally no overnight successes. Even the successes that look like they're overnight to us, it's because we weren't there for the entire journey. It only looks overnight to us is because all we saw was the end result, or we saw it then, and then the next time we saw it, it was fantastic, but we missed everything that happened in the middle. And for those of you who rock with me on a regular basis, I tell you, don't compare your journey to anybody else's, because your journey is unique to you. Your path is unique to you. You can be wanting to achieve the very same goal as someone else, and you both can achieve that goal, but you can reach that end result in very different ways and in very different time frames. And so if you find yourself procrastinating, the first question I want you to ask yourself is this something I'm still really interested in doing? And if you find out that it is, then say, have I bitten off more than I can chew? Have I not given myself the time, the space, the resources, the patience, the grace that I really need to achieve whatever this is? And so once you do those things, it'll be a lot less likely that you'll procrastinate, because now it makes sense, right? Now it's not so daunting. Now it's not so overwhelming. Now you're able to celebrate small wins. Each time you accomplish a piece of whatever this task is, each time you get one step closer to that end result, you can celebrate each one of those wins. So you're not feeling like I'm not getting anywhere, because you've gotten somewhere. You've taken the first step, even if that first step is just researching about it, even if that first step is just enlisting some help, whatever that first step is. Hey, Lacey J, how are you? Good to see you, love. Even if that first step is just having that conversation with yourself and identifying the fact that you need to make a plan, you celebrate that. Y'all, I am a celebrator of every single win. I only bite off more than I can chew. Or do you mean you always bite off more than you can chew, Janet? Because if you only bite off more than you can chew, I need you to stop doing that. And if you always bite off more than you can chew, I need you to stop doing that. And what I need y'all to realize too, that we all bite off more than we can chew sometimes. And most of what we do, we're biting off more than we can chew if we're trying to do it all at one time, if we're having unrealistic expectations of ourselves, if we're setting unrealistic goals. But if you put it in small bite-sized goals, then it's not more than you can chew, right? And so that's even with Wallace and I, with ISALT, Institute for Success and Leadership Training, the way we train, instead of in big gulps, we call the way we train in sips, just small little sips. We're not going to give you big gulps of information that are going to be hard for you to retain, hard for you to stay focused on. We're just going to give you little sips at a time, which is why with my life coaching, I do 6 sessions to start off with. And most of the time people sign up with me again and again because we're achieving things, but we're achieving small bite size. You said always and only. I have very unrealistic views of my powers. And you know what? That's okay, because I want you to believe in yourself. Definitely. I want you to believe that you can conquer the world, you could do all the things. But Janet, you always bring me to the triple A's. You know what that is. Once you're aware, hold yourself accountable, and then take action. And so that's the thing. Since you realize that you do that, and that's something that you put yourself through, then I need you to be taking notes today to try to help yourself not to take on so much, or at least, like I said, when you take it on, know that you can accomplish it, but be okay if it's going to take a while for you to accomplish those things. Hey, Sammy Joe, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. When I tell you I missed y'all while I was gone, I really, really did. I really did. And so that's what we want to do. We want to break it into smaller steps. We want to break it in to bite-sized pieces and not overwhelm ourselves with this one big goal saying, I'm going to do this. And so that's the next thing we want to do, is then set clear goals. And when I say set clear goals, I mean giving ourselves deadlines, but realistic deadlines. We don't want to just come up with something and say, I'm going to do this by the end of the year. Well, depending on where you are, the end of the year could be right around the corner, or the end of the year could be 11 months away. So we want realistic goals with deadlines. Let me see. Beverly, repeat those triple A's. Yeah, the triple A's are, first, you want to be aware. And these are just my triple A's to being able to achieve things or being able to change behaviors. So the triple A's are, you want to be aware. Once you're aware, then you want to hold yourself accountable. And once you hold yourself accountable, then you want to take action, because the first two A's are really about mindset. So being aware of an issue, great. You're self-aware, so you're not oblivious to whatever the problem is, but awareness in and of itself isn't going to do much for you. And so once you're aware, then you want to hold yourself accountable by saying, I've identified this as an issue. And so whenever I see myself behaving in this way, or doing this thing, or, exhibiting that behavior, then I'm going to hold myself accountable for that, because we're truly the only ones who can hold ourselves accountable. And once we hold ourselves accountable, then we're going to do the third A. We're going to take some kind of action, and that could be different, whatever it is we're dealing with, but we're going to have to take some sort of action in order to overcome whatever that issue, that trigger, whatever that is. So those are the triple A's: awareness, accountability, and action. So we want to set clear goals for ourselves, because a lot of times we do that stuff where we're like, oh yeah, by the end of the year, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to lose this much weight, by my birthday. And, your birthday might be 6 months away, and we haven't set any clear deadlines. Things are very vague, and then we move on and we procrastinate, because a lot of times we set a goal that seems like it's far off in the distance at that time. And so we feel like we have plenty of time to get started, but we have no clear plan, right? We set this goal, but we haven't given ourselves clear deadlines. So what I want to offer to you is, if you find yourself procrastinating, then go ahead and break these things up to small tasks, like we just discussed, and then give yourself deadlines for these tasks. So for instance, if your goal is to start a new business, because I know a lot of you who are in here are entrepreneurs, content creators, things like that. So let's just use starting a business. And so you've already decided that you want to start a business, a bakery business, okay? And you want to start off small, just bake goods from your home and, things like that. And so that's what you've decided to do. So give yourself a clear deadline to say, okay, today is January 1st. I'm going to give myself until January 15th, and give yourself plenty of time. Don't give yourself where you don't have any wiggle room, because again, life be life. And so be realistic, but also don't, shoot it out real far. Be honest with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. Y'all know I'm about that accountability piece. Be honest with yourself. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. Make realistic goals and set the deadline. So you say, I want to start this business. Well, what's one of the first things I need to do in starting a business? I need to come up with a name for the business. Okay, I'm going to give myself 10 days. So by January 10th, I would have identified a name. So that might mean researching different names, bouncing names off of family and friends, whatever. But put that on your calendar. Put it on your calendar, mark that date. Maybe give yourself a couple of reminders in between time that I said I was going to have this done by this date. Hold yourself accountable. Then you want to say, okay, once I get my name, now I can move forward. And so I'm going to give myself until the 15th, which is 5 more days, to go ahead and apply for my EIN number with the IRS, because that's something very easy to do. All you have to do is go to irs.gov. It doesn't cost anything, but you say, okay, I'm going to give myself by the 5th to do this. Or by the 15th. And so that's what I mean, where you're setting clear goals. You're not just saying, I'm going to have this whole big thing done in 6 months. And then you get to month number 5 and you're trying to do everything because you procrastinated because a bunch of other things were happening. So you want to set clear deadlines for yourself for each process of the goal. Because again, as the date gets closer to this big date that you sent, now you're in crunch time. That's going to cause you to have more anxiety. It's going to cause you to be more overwhelmed, which most times, unfortunately, causes you to give up. Then you'll convince yourself it's just too difficult. I don't have time. But it's just because you didn't have clear deadlines. It's because you did not plan appropriately, because you allowed yourself to procrastinate, because you allowed yourself to be overwhelmed, because you didn't set clear deadlines. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Y'all see how the puzzle pieces are all fitting together? If y'all picking up what I'm putting down, put a 1 in the chat for me, because I need y'all to talk back to me, and all we got is the chat. I'm gonna also put the link in the chat too if anybody has any questions, wants to join me up here. I always forget about that because y'all know I'm a talker, so I will definitely talk, but y'all know y'all are welcome to join me at any time. Good. I'm seeing some ones in the chat. I need that feedback because I'm running my mouth. I need to know that they getting it. Okay, good. Beverly 1, Dawn 1, Jamie 1. Good. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down. And so all of these things kind of fit together. So thank you, Lisi. Thank you, Tim. That makes me feel better that I know I'm not here by myself. So all of these things fit together, right? And so we want to set these realistic goals, but we also want to give ourselves deadlines because we have to hold ourselves accountable. And I know for me, nothing is real unless I write it down. Nothing is real unless it's on my calendar. I ain't going to do it. I'm not going to show up. So I just have a habit of everything goes on my calendar. And I also set alarms for myself. And we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And so setting these realistic deadlines and knowing yourself, be honest about who you are, honest about how you move, honest with yourself about your level of overwhelmness, and give yourself ample time. So that's what we want to do. And so once we do that, then we also want to take it a step further and we want to implement some time management techniques. And time management is such a huge issue. I get called into so many businesses, so many corporations to teach just on time management. We all have the same 24 hours a day. It just depends on what we decide to use them on. And I guarantee, me included, because I'm always talking to myself as well, and most of what I train on and coach on, it's because I done been there before. So that's why I'm bringing it to y'all. But we seem to not realize how much time we really waste. I hate to say it because I know everybody is like, I'm busy. And that's the thing that I always coach against my clients, saying, quit saying you busy, because busy can mean a lot of things. If you're not being productive, then I want to know what you're busy doing. So people saying, oh, I'm so busy. But I think a lot of times we kind of brainwash ourselves because we're doing something and then we look and it's 8:00 at night and we're like, oh, I've just been so busy today. But we're not accounting for the time that we just scrolled on Facebook. We're not accounting for the time that we sat and watched mindless TV. We're not accounting for the nap. We're not accounting for the gossip session on the phone, even though I know don't none of y'all gossip, whatever. But we're not accounting for a lot of that time. We're not accounting for the time that we just sat and daydreamed. And again, There is a time and place for all of that. Yeah, busy doing nothing, Jamie. Yes, 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 yes. Busy doing nothing. That's why I always tell people, they like, oh, I'm so busy. Well, girl, is you busy or productive? Because I need you to be productive with your time, because we can definitely be busy doing it. You laughing at me, Bam, doing a whole lot of nothing. But again, it's something that we just become accustomed to saying, because how else are we going to account for our time, right? But to say I was so busy. And so we want to use time management techniques. Y'all know I'm all about the self-care. I'm all about taking that time out to do things for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that mindless TV every once in a while. There is nothing wrong with doing the things that you enjoy that aren't necessarily productive. I'm all for the bubble bath, the YouTube vlogs, all of that, but all of it needs to be scheduled. And so what I do is a method called time blocking, where I literally schedule my day out every day from the time I wake up until the time I plan to unwind for the night. And so, what'd you say, babe? Now that I'm back in the office, that girl, there'll be stuff to talk about. I mean, and people say I don't talk about people. Well, if there wasn't people, there wouldn't be nothing else to talk about. So you talking about people. Now, it might not always be bad, but we talk about people. But anyway, I use a method called time blocking, and you can actually get a I don't know why I'm picking this up, but a book on Amazon that it's like a daily agenda, where it has the hours, I believe, and they may come in different ones, but from like 7 in the morning until 7 in the evening. And it's broken up into 15-minute increments. And again, that's the one I have. I should have pulled it out, but just look at time blocking calendar or agenda if you're interested in it. But instead of just your daily calendar, because that didn't work for me, just having something written on a daily calendar, it still sometimes it would seem like, oh, that's a lot for one day. So what I did is got that one from 7 to 7. And well, thank you, Tim. Now that's productive. That's productive. Y'all can do that. But what I do is I block it out every day. So I start with, my morning meditation. And then if I plan to exercise that day, then it's morning meditation from 7 to 7:30, shower at 7:30. Exercise at 8 o'clock. Like, I write everything because I want to be accountable for every minute of my day, because that will let me know, do I truly have enough time? When I was writing my book, I would put, I'm going to sit down and write from 12 to 3 on this day. And that's what I would do. And even if I had writer's block, I would still sit there and just write out ideas or do whatever I needed to do to move forward in my book. And when 3 o'clock came, I moved on to the next thing. I write out when I'm going to have lunch. And then that way you can really see how you're using your time and where you're losing time. If you have a favorite show that you want to watch on TV, and these days we can watch our shows whenever we want, right? We have Hulu, we have DVR. So it's not like, I got to be in front of the TV at this time. But if you need, good night. It was so good to have you here. I hope you have a good morning. Thank you so much for being here, Chris. I appreciate you. But if you need to watch TV, whatever, just schedule that time. And so that way you'll see where all your time has been spent and what you have. If you want to take a bubble bath, schedule that, because what happens is we just move around along our day and we're just doing things, but we really don't know how we spent that time. And we feel like we've been busy because we've been doing something. We know we haven't been asleep, but it's about holding ourselves accountable. And so that's really been helpful for me. What I also do with my time blocking, I take it a step further, is I set alarms in my phone so that I know when it's, so I don't have to constantly be watching the clock. If I'm going to do this for 45 minutes, then when I sit down, if I'm starting at 10 o'clock, I set that alarm for 10:45 so that I don't go overtime, because sometimes certain tasks aren't going to be finished the moment we do them. And you might have to carry over a portion of it to another day, but it just really, really works for me. And it just helps you, again, to hold yourself accountable. It helps you to see where your time is. And if you need to shift things around, then you can. And it really lets you know, am I not expecting enough out of myself every day, or am I putting too much on myself every day? And then that's just a way to navigate it and move it around. Oh, you do time blocking? Yeah, it works for me, Lisa J. It really does at work. Yeah. And start it personally. I'm telling you, when you do a whole day, and especially, like your weekends, even the weekends seem to come and go so fast. And what do we do with our weekends? We try to cram everything in the weekend. We try to cram all our social life in the weekend. We try to cram the things that we want to do entrepreneurially to the weekend. We try to cram our self-care to the weekend. And so it's really important to make that time so that you're not procrastinating and saying, I ran out of time. I don't have enough time. What do people say all the time? There's not enough hours in the day. There are enough hours in the day because, hey, Sharita, because somebody is making it happen, right? And I'm always under the belief that if they can do it, I can do it. And so if somebody's getting this stuff accomplished and achieved, then Stae Hall can get it accomplished and achieved as well. She just got to figure out how to do it and what way is going to work for Stae Hall. Good night, Tim. Much love to you as well. Thank you so much for being here. And so that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable and not selling ourselves short, because it's just human nature. We have so much going on. You just feel like you're so overwhelmed and so busy. And not to say that we don't have a lot to do, but it's just figuring out how we can achieve all the things that we want to achieve. Because when we procrastinate, number one, things aren't getting done that we want to get done. And then we feel bad about ourselves, right? We're kicking ourselves. We're waking up the next day, the next week, the next month, like, I can't believe I still haven't done that. So it's not like we procrastinate and feel good about it. And that's my goal. I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to have that self-love. I want you to be proud of yourself. I want you to feel accomplished. I want you to feel like you're achieving things. Yeah, please try it and let me know how it works for you. And it's just, like I said, every little thing that you can think of, just put it on there and how long you think it's going to take, including your business, your work, your personal, your fun. Just put it all on there and just try to be realistic about it. And so let's go back. So what we want to do is we want to first identify as to whatever it is we've been procrastinating about. Do we even still want to do it? If we still want to do it, then we have to make sure that we are breaking it up into small tasks and celebrating every win. Then we want to set clear goals with deadlines. And then we want to implement some kind of time management technique to it. Now, I shared with y'all my time management technique, but y'all know there's more than one way to skin a cat. Google time management techniques, YouTube time management techniques. My way may not be the way that works for you, but I know some sort of time management is going to work. It may be just doing a different thing every day. I don't know what it might look like for you, but I at least want to open your mind to looking into my work, because what my goal is to help you be able to achieve your goals and reach the level of success that you desire. So once we've done those things, then if those things still aren't working for you and you've done everything that I've mentioned, now we're going to dig a little deeper. Oh, you're going to try it too, Grammys? Thank you. Y'all got to let me know how it works. Let me know how it works for you. Or if you find it doesn't work and you find something else, let me know that as well. But the next thing, there go Lux with his squeaky toy again, y'all. And when I tell y'all he has not played with it all day, he hasn't. He just wants my attention. And it's hilarious. This puppy is so smart. So once we have gone through all these things, this is when we're going to dig a little deeper, because maybe we've gone through all of these steps and it's still not working. We still find ourselves procrastinating. We're not getting the things done. We've tried the time block and we're not able to stick to that for whatever reason. Now we got to find out what that reason is. And so there are different reasons outside of everything we just addressed. Is more like just not having proper planning, maybe not using the proper resources, not having enough time. Those things are pretty like, okay, we can fix those. I've just given y'all the tools to fix those. And if that's all that's going on with you, then you good. You shouldn't be procrastinating on whatever anymore. But every once in a while, it's a little deeper, right? And so if you've tried things and you feel like it's still not working, then let's think of what are the reasons why you may be procrastinating? What is triggering you to procrastinate? Just really have that conversation with yourself, or y'all know the next thing I'm going to say, seek therapy. And you might think, therapy for procrastination, it ain't that deep, but it could be. And I feel like everybody should be in therapy anyway. Don't wait till there's a problem. Let's be proactive instead of reactive. First of all, therapy should not be taboo anymore. We all could use to talk to somebody who is unbiased and impartial. Let me get off that soapbox, but you know how I feel about that. But there are usually symptoms to bigger issues. And so if you're thinking like procrastination isn't a big enough issue to go to therapy, well, it could be a symptom of something else. And that's what we're going to talk about now. Are you afraid? Is that why you're procrastinating? Is whatever it is that you want to achieve, are you afraid of failure? Are you not believing in yourself? Is it easier just for you to put it off because you're afraid that if you go ahead and jump into it and start doing it, that it might not work out? And so you rather just continue to put it off than to have that failure, because fear of failure is real. A lot of people suffer from that fear of failure. Fear of failure goes hand in hand with perfectionism, right? Perfectionism is so dangerous because, let me tell y'all a secret, no one's perfect. And so if that's what you're always striving towards and you won't do anything unless you think it's going to be perfect, then you're going to find yourself stuck and not doing much of anything. You can always find something wrong with anything. I mean, I have done what I feel like are some amazing things. I've achieved some amazing goals. I've had some great accomplishments that I've really been blessed with that I'm proud of. But every single one of them, I can identify something that could have been better, that could have went better, that could have been better, something that was wrong, that wasn't quite right. Does it make it any less great? Does it still not make an accomplishment? Absolutely not, because no one's perfect. All it does is give you the opportunity to try again next time. Hey, J3. Usually when I procrastinate, it's 9 times out of 10 is due to fear. Yeah, I want y'all to step out of that fear. Yep, that's me, but I don't like to feel like I'm a perfectionist though. Yeah, it's you are always on time, J3. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing you want to think about. Are you a perfectionist? And it's unrealistic. And so I just want y'all to get that out of your head, that the people who you may admire the most, the people who may be your mentors, the people who may be the ones that you try to implement and pattern things behind, they've made mistakes. They failed. Even some of the things that seem to be their greatest achievements that look great to everyone else, I guarantee you there were some bumps along the road. There were some mistakes made. That's what makes us human. So we want to take a deep dive into that and figure out, am I putting this off just because I'm afraid of failure? Because if that's the case, then you need to address that. And is there some sort of trauma? Is there something that's happened to you in your past that made you feel like you can't fail? Is there something where you feel like you're going to get some kind of backlash? Do you feel like people aren't going to take you seriously? Do you think that people are going to laugh at you? Like, who do you think you are to think that you could have accomplished something like that? And that's when I say therapy comes into play, because we all have things that have been said to us or done to us that we might not even think about on a regular basis. Maybe we haven't thought about it in years, but it's somewhere back in our subconscious holding us from achieving our goals and doing the things that we desire to do and causing us to procrastinate. And we might not even really be aware of what it is, but we just know that we can't even get started for whatever reason. It could also just be a lack of motivation, and a lack of motivation usually stems from depression. And there's nothing wrong with depression. That should not be taboo. If you find yourself in a depressed state and it's keeping you with a lack of motivation, you just don't feel like you have the energy. Hey, ARD, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. But yeah, if you feel like you just don't have the energy to do it every day. It's just hard for you to even get up out the bed, let alone trying to tackle these big goals and dreams. If you feel in any way that you're not worthy of achieving your goals, if you find yourself suffering from imposter syndrome, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, just feeling like, who am I to be able to do these things? Why do I even think I can do these things? That might be some depression. If you're always comparing yourself to other people, if you're watching other people doing things and you feel like you don't match up, those things can lead to you procrastinating, because as much as you're having these negative thoughts, you still have these desires to do things, but the depression, the negative self-talk, the imposter syndrome, the comparison syndrome, all of these things are holding you back. It's keeping you from being motivated. And so it's time to enlist help, to enlist support, to talk to somebody, to work through it, because you deserve to achieve everything you set out to achieve. You are worthy of all your hopes and dreams. You are valuable. The things that you want to do are going to be something that can help someone else along the way. And guess what? Even this part of your journey that may seem negative while you're dealing with the depression and the procrastination and the lack of motivation and all of that, can lead you to a place where then you're like me, helping somebody else get through it because you've been there. And so there's no shame in that, because so many people, more than you would ever believe, are dealing with the exact same thing. But I don't ever want you to just think, well, maybe I'm just lazy, or maybe I just can't do it, or maybe it's just not for me. No, I want you to figure it out, because if it's truly in you and you're passionate about it and it's something that you really desire to do, whatever it is, from owning a business to, starting a nonprofit, to losing weight, to getting healthier, to adopting a child, to getting a puppy, whatever it is that you want to do, if you're passionate about it and there are just these roadblocks and you can't figure what it is, that doesn't mean that it's not for you. It just means that your path is going to look a little bit different than maybe you thought it was. Definitely going to look different from some other people who you might be comparing yourself to, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. I can't say it enough. Access delayed does not mean access denied. I've shared with y'all the hopes and dreams that I had back in my 20s and 30s that I've just been able to achieve in my late 40s and now 50s, that I know if I would have been able to do anything like I'm doing now back then, I wasn't equipped yet. And so it took some no's, it took some trial and error, it took some difficult times for me to be able to be equipped to do what I do now and be able to operate in excellence and be able to be the expert and be able to have the confidence and be able to have the courage to do the things that I do now. I wasn't ready or equipped back then when I first wanted it. I had survivor's remorse and feared success for what I thought it would bring. Crazy to think that now I'm on the other side of it. God removed it to bless others, not just money-wise. Great topic. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm so glad that you are on the other side of it. And that's the thing. We go through things and we might not understand it at the time. Quite often we don't understand it at the time. But when we do the work and we get on the other side of it, like ARD said, it's like you realize what your journey was about. And now is to help somebody else. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate y'all in the bushes, the replays, wherever you are. I definitely appreciate y'all all the time. Yes. Everybody's saying hi to one another. And I do have the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to join me, y'all know y'all are welcome. But if y'all can just do me a favor, put a 2 in the chat if everything that I've said so far makes sense. Just put a 2 in the chat. I just need y'all to talk back to me. If you have a question, put that in there. But it's just so many people that I talked to, and just a few in the last couple of weeks when they were talking about procrastination. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Bev. Thank you so much. Thank y'all. And y'all might think I'm being silly, but it does mean a lot to me, because if I'm not making sense, I want y'all not to be afraid to ask me a question, to say, hey, that's not making sense. Can you repeat that? So thank you, J3. I appreciate you. All of y'all. Thank you so much. All right. But yeah, I just had one young lady just broke down and was like, I just think I'm lazy. Like my mother always just told me I was lazy. And so she had that stuck in her head. Thank you, Wallace Hall. Had that stuck in her head that I'm just lazy. And so she gave herself permission to procrastinate all the time because it had already been planted in her head that she was lazy. So that's what she expected of herself. So every time she set out to do something and then didn't do it, all she said was, well, I'm just lazy. Like my mama always said, I'm lazy, so I'm lazy. And it's like, girl, do you really want to do it? Then quit telling yourself you're lazy. And it's like, do you get things done that you need to get done at work? Because you still got your job. So evidently you ain't lazy, because lazy folks can't hold a job. Bev says, I've been writing a book for almost 4 years. Girl, we got to get that book written and published. I know all the ropes when it comes to that. So definitely, if you would like to enlist my support and assistance, just give me a call. And it's a lot of times when it comes to people who are doing creative things, especially, they procrastinate. And again, I just want you to think about it. Is this something that you really want to do? If it's something that you really want to do, then the next question is, why haven't you done it? And then we can just go through that list and figure it out. A lot of times when it's with creative stuff, we want to do it, but we know once we do it, then we got to put it out there. And so then that thought comes in, what are people going to say? Are people going to like it? Are people going to buy it? Are people going to think I'm crazy? Are people going to appreciate it? And the answer is yes to all of it. Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't. The people who you think are going to support you the most may support you the least. But then there's going to be people out there who you've never met before who are going to think it's the greatest thing in the world. And you're going to find a whole new group of people who were waiting for you to write that book. So it's like, yeah, all the things can be true. But that's not your business. What other people think about what you do and what you do is none of your business. You just do what you have been called to do and what you're passionate about doing, and you put it out there, and whoever is for, and whoever is not, is not. And a lot of people like to say, well, I don't care about nobody thinks. We all care about what other people think. We might not want to admit it. It might not be crippling to us, but there's still a part of us that cares. Y'all know one thing about me, I'm going to be 100% candid and transparent and say, yeah, did I care what people thought when I put my first book out or when I first started my YouTube channel? But I didn't let it cripple me. And I got to the point where I didn't really care anymore, but I had to do it first. But the only way that I got to the point where I didn't really care is because I realized that as many people who might not have cared about what I was doing or thought I was crazy or didn't take me seriously or didn't want to buy my book or didn't want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, there were 5 times more people who were waiting on me to show up, who may have never seen my face or heard my name before. But once I stepped out there, it was like, oh my goodness, I connect with you. And those are the people I'm doing it for. I'm not doing it for the people who don't want to see me and don't care. I'm doing it for the people who are waiting on me. So hopefully that helps somebody. I've been working on my book for years as well. I had a setback after losing my husband and other family members, but I'm back in the zone again. Praise God. I love that for you, Jamie. I love that. I love that. I love that. And I'm here if you need any help, girl. If I'm nothing else, I am a supporter. I understand, Beverly. I've been writing the same screenplay for 10 years. Writer's block and creative block are real. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is Stae needs to do, because I did one during COVID, but it looks like I might need to do another writer's seminar, and we do it via Zoom. I had about 5 people in it last time, and 2 of those people have written and published their books. So 2 out of 5 ain't bad. So if y'all want me to do another writer seminar, let me know, and I can help y'all with that. I will help you to hold yourself accountable. I'll give y'all the steps. I will share resources with y'all, because when I decided to write my book, I didn't have anybody to help me. And I reached out and asked a couple of people who I knew had written and self-published books, and they didn't want to help me at all. They were like, one person straight up told me, I forget what I even did. Like, how you forget? You done wrote and published a whole book. But that's a different story for a different day. But I was just determined. So I did my research. I did everything I needed to do. And I said, I will never allow anybody else who crosses my path and wants that help. I will never allow that to happen again. So I do book writing seminars. Like I said, it's just a couple of hours. And we get together 3 times. So 3 sessions. Hey, Shawnee, 3 sessions, 2 hours each. And by the time we're finished, you should at least have a manuscript. So if y'all would like for me to do another one of those seminars, let me know and I will get that scheduled and put the information out there. Dawn says yes. Jamie has said that would be amazing. Putting a 1, 2, 3 in the chat for the writers, LOS. Yes, please. Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to get something together and I will start putting that information out there once I look at my schedule, because I want to see y'all get these projects out here, because there are people waiting for your screenplay, Lacey. There are people waiting for your book, Jamia and Dawn and Bev and whoever else said that they want to write a book, or Resilient Dad. People are out there waiting. And the reason why y'all want to write this stuff, I'm sure, is because you feel like it's either going to entertain or help somebody. And the people can't be entertained or helped if it's just up here. And so we're definitely going to do that. Definitely going to do that. Bev says, yes, please. I love that. So we will get something together sooner rather than later, because I just know how it is. And now, like I said, I am on book number 4. That's going to be coming out. But the difference for me is book number 4 is going to be way different than my first 3 books, right? And so I've had some issues as well, like, oh my gosh, are people ready for something different from me? So I still have some of the same thoughts. I just have developed the skills and tools to overcome those. And I have really become that person who does it afraid. So don't think that y'all are in this alone, because even after doing it, but what my mentor told me too is a healthy level of anxiety and nervous is healthy, right? He said that once you no longer care, once you're no longer nervous, then that means maybe it's time for you to move on to something else. So if you have a little bit of butterflies, if you have a little bit of apprehension, that's good, so don't feel like you should just be like, oh, easy peasy, I don't care. But it's just that, again, when you let it cripple you, because I'm feeling some kind of way about certain things, but I still do it. Like every time I get ready to take the stage or a platform, whether I'm speaking or singing, whatever it is, I still get a little like, oh gosh, am I going to be good? Are they going to want to hear what I'm saying? Are they going to like how I sing? Am I going to hit all the notes? Am I going to say all the things I wanted to say? I don't go up there like, oh yeah, I got this. And I've been singing since I was 3. So it's that little healthy nervousness that just lets you know you're passionate. But I feel bad when people let it cripple them, and then it robs us of the greatness that you have to offer. It robs us of, the information that you have to share, because there is somebody out there waiting for you to do whatever it is that you're planning to do, because there's a reason why that task was given to you. There's a reason why that passion was planted inside of you, and it's not for you just to keep it to yourself. And so if I can guilt you a little bit and just say, hey, somebody's waiting for you, and you're stalling somebody else, and getting to their dream, getting to their next level of success, because they need you to give them that support through your book, through your screenplay, whatever it is. So if I, plant that little seed of guilt, that mama's guilt on y'all to say, do it. I'm waiting on y'all, because I'm just waiting to be beaming with pride and be like, yes, that is a member of the L.Y.F.E tribe doing big things and helping society, right? And we need it. We need people with positivity and that encouragement. So I am here for y'all. I'm nervous every time I turn on my camera, but I push myself and record anyway. Yeah. And that's what you have to do. You have to, if it's something that you really want to do, what's Nike say? Just do it. You can't get used to anything until you do it. And we're going to get better. When I go back and look at my YouTube channels, my YouTube videos from years ago, I chuckle every time. It's just like, but I ain't taking them down. I still had a good message. I still, I was doing the best I can. I told y'all when I first started, Wallace had one of them little garage lights hanging in here, like you do when you're working on a car outside, little janky mic. I was on an old iPhone. It's so funny, and now it's all camera and ring lights and all that. But it took time. I had to get there. It's like even my first book to my second book and then on, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I put this in here? Or I forgot to put that in there. But practice makes perfect. And no matter how long we prepare, the first few times is still going to be rough. And so I love the fact that you do that. Just hit record, just hit record and do it. And then put it out there, because everyone who's out there has gone through the same thing. If you go to just about anybody's channel or anybody's first piece of work, whatever it is, it's usually not as good as where they are now. It takes time. It takes practice. And you have to learn not to take yourself too seriously. That's something Wallace and I say all the time. You have to learn to laugh at yourself and I do it all the time because I'm a character. I laugh at myself all the time. Some of the things that I say, the things that I've done. I go back and look at some of my hairdos, some of my outfits. It's just like we go through phases, right? Some of the decisions I made. You just have to take yourself not so seriously and just realize we all fall short every once in a while. It's never going to be perfect. But I also like the fact that it constantly gives me something to work on, right? So I have something to do better. I have something to build upon. And it also gives me stories to share, and it makes me relatable to other people. So I love that for you, Jamie, that you just do it. And next thing you know, is it'll get less and less scary every single time. So I am glad, and I'm going to get to work on that session with y'all. I didn't realize that so many people wanted to write a book, and I just have a passion about helping people with stuff like that. Even like when I did some of my first conferences, so much stuff I just did by myself because people don't like to share. And one thing about me, I'm never going to be a gatekeeper, because I definitely believe that it's a blessing to be a blessing. I know that the things that I've learned and the things that I've accomplished, again, are not just for me. And if I try to keep it all to myself, then I've gotten as far as I'm going to get, right? So if I'm holding on to all my information, if I'm holding on to all the knowledge and wisdom and experiences that I've gained, then that's all I have, right? Because I'm closed off. And so I'm not afraid to share, because the more I share, then I know that's the more that I'm going to be blessed with, because now I can be trusted with the information to share it with people who don't have it. And so if I want to continue to grow my business, my brand, my channel, my knowledge, then I need to let go of some of what I have to share with somebody else. And even if I had to get mine the hard way, Grammys, even if I had to get mine the hard way, even if I had to scrape and research and burn the midnight oil, I didn't let the lack of other people sharing with me stop me from sharing with other people. All that did was make me want to share with other people more. I'm like, I'm not letting anybody else. But the thing that holds people back from sharing is just that fear of competition. As soon as you ask somebody a question about something that they did and you let them know that you want to do something similar, a lot of people immediately, now they're on the defense, and that makes them afraid because you're going to be my competition. Well, guess what? I'm not worried about any competition at all. The only competition I have is me and who I was yesterday and trying to be better than that person, because there is enough out here for all of us, and I'm not for everybody. Everybody's not for me, and the same goes for you. One of the young ladies who I helped to publish her book, her name is Sharice Dukes, and she has a women's devotional called Anew, Always Never Empty Words. And y'all can check her out. I believe her book is on Amazon as well, but it's Anew, but it's an acronym. So A.N.E.W. And when she first came to me, she said, I'm really interested in you coaching me and helping me to get my book published, but I'm not sure if you're going to want to work with me because I'm writing the same kind of book as you. And so I'm like, oh, do tell. What do you mean you're writing the same kind of book as me? And I already knew, what I was going to say, whatever, but I was just curious. And she said, well, I'm writing a women's devotional, and I know that you released a women's devotional. And so I just didn't know. And I'm like, girl, are you running for your life? I wrote that already. And she's like, no, well, this is what I'm writing, whatever. And I said, okay. I said, well, you do know I'm not the first person to ever write a women's devotional. And I'm not the last person to ever write a women's devotional. Now, I do take credit for creating podcasts. Y'all know that story for those of you who've been with me for a while, but I don't take credit for creating women's devotionals. And so I told her, we may have a lot of people that are the same audience, because I know myself, I have several women's devotionals, but then we're going to have other people who would never even look at my book who are going to love your book. I will absolutely still help you and teach you everything I know, because you're not my competition. I want to be able to help you. I want to help you achieve your goals. But a lot of times that's what keeps people, because they're so afraid, when I'm just like, no, let me give it and give it and give it. And then more is going to come to me. And then I just love seeing other people flourish and prosper and thrive. My two dreams: write my book about my experiences teaching in Vietnam and also having a women's conference. Well, girl, I can help you with both of those. I can help you with that book. And Lord knows I have done my share of women's conferences. So, girl, those are no longer dreams. Those are projects that you are going to be able to make happen. I've always told myself and my kids, I only compete with myself. I want to be better than I was yesterday. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Always a work in progress. Always, wanting to help somebody. And as I help people, it helps me. That's why I tell y'all, when y'all come to me with certain things, it helps me as well. These talks that we have, my life coaching sessions, when I speak at events, I always get something out of it to help me be better. A lot of times I'm talking to myself. I can pick up my book at any time and read certain things, and it still speaks to me, because I'm no different than y'all. I've gone through a lot of the same stuff. So I ain't got time to be competing with nobody else, because I will always and forever be a work in progress and a forever learner. So I don't have time to be worried about how I compare to anybody else. I got too many tweaks and stuff I got to do over here, because Stae Hall is a hot mess. She got stuff that she need to be working out. And so don't be wasting your energy thinking about what anybody else is doing, what anybody else is saying. Do you, but just know you have a supporter in me. Any information I have that may be able to help you, I'm going to share it with you. If I don't have it, I don't mind telling you I don't know, but just know if I tell you I don't know, that means I really don't know. But guess who's going to try to help you find out? That's going to be me. So never hesitate. Y'all know that I do have available coaching. So if anybody is interested in one-on-one coaching with me, I have my 6-week series where we can meet 6 weeks, an hour a week to work on whatever goal it is. If you would like to re-enlist, like it's the military, if you would like to re-register after the 6 weeks, we can continue it. But I also do complimentary 20-minute consultations as well, because I know I might not be for everybody. So I never force anybody just to sign up with me right off the bat. I always will have a one-on-one conversation, because I know so many of you meet me here on social media and you might not, want to ask certain questions. Hey, Demetra, how are you, boo? You, may not want to ask certain questions in front of the masses, but I do the consultation so we can, make sure that we are a good fit. But I am going to open it up once again. If anybody wants to join me up here, if y'all have any questions, because y'all know I'm going to be like the Baptist preacher. I ain't going to be before you long. Hey. But y'all know, again, I talk a lot, but I always want you to know that you are welcome to join me up here if you would like. And then Wallace and I were supposed to do a giveaway on Sunday, and I completely forgot. So we will be doing a giveaway. So if y'all tune in this coming Sunday, we'll be giving away a complimentary copy of the Hallway Weekly Devotional for Today's Thriving Couples, because I completely forgot to do it. But y'all know my mind was all over the place on Sunday after those rough flights and all that stuff. If y'all didn't hear the story about my flights and me getting off the plane on the tarmac at Pittsburgh International Airport, then go ahead and watch the live from last night and you will hear that whole crazy story. Also, if you're not already subscribed to the Hallway Life channel, please go ahead and do that. You just type it in to YouTube, just the way I typed it there in the chat. It'll take you to the channel, because eventually what we want to do is move all of the couples content over to the hallway life and just keep this for, you know, the vlogs and my one-on-one and living life with Stae. Right now, we're doing everything on the Stae Hall channel just because that's where I have the most L.Y.F.E tribe members, but we do want to kind of separate that because even though I feel like the information is good for everybody, I know that some people who, you know, like what I talk about over here may not be as interested in the couple stuff and vice versa. So we kind of want to keep that separate. And especially since we go live on Sunday and then I'm here for Mindset Mondays back to back, we want to kind of separate it. So I think we have like 129 in the tribe over on the Hallway Life. So just trying to build that because I don't want to stop doing it on this channel until I feel like we've moved a lot of people over there. So if y'all could do that, I know that I'm asking for a lot. Also, don't forget about Why Is Everything So Loud? I'm so excited to go to Mobile and be a part of the Autism Awareness Walk and go to the prom. Like we're actually getting to go to the prom with my nephew. So that's going to be exciting. And then my sister, this will be her first time actually having a table at the event and signing books and having her books there. So I'm excited for that. And thank you to each one of you who have supported her by either downloading the ebook or purchasing a book or leaving a review. It all counts. And, you know, it's just awesome because these kiddos, you know, they need that. They need, you know, people that they can relate to, people who go through the same things that they go to, but it's also good for their siblings and classmates too, just to understand that autistic kids are just kids. They're just a little bit different and they just see the world a little bit differently. So I appreciate each and every one of you. It doesn't look like we have any more questions in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. And I'm going to be like Jamia and get something to eat. What did you have for dinner today, Jamia? You always cooking up some good stuff. I got some leftover barbecue from yesterday. That's what I'm going to have. A little bit of cabbage and some ribs and some beans. I didn't eat any of the beans yesterday, but that's what I'm going to do because I barely ate any of it yesterday. So I am ready to get something to eat. But Jamie is always over there cooking good stuff. Smoked turkey and rice. I knew it was going to be something good, girl. I knew it was going to be something good. Well, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. You know, I appreciate you guys. I hope that something I said resonated with somebody, gave them that little extra push or inspiration to go ahead and go for your dreams. Don't worry about what anybody thinks. Do your time blocking, identify whether or not it's something that you really want to do. And if it is, then go for it. Do not let procrastination steal your dreams. Do not let procrastination steal your joy. Do not let procrastination keep us from getting what you have to offer us. I know that does sound good. That does sound good. I can't wait to eat. Good night to you all. Blessings to you all. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. And thank you for sharing your wisdom. Stae. Thank you so much, Dawn. And thank you for being here. Definitely let me know when you put together the Zoom. I will be putting it out there and see how many. And that's the thing too, no matter how many we have in the class, I'm still going to do it, but I'll go ahead and put it out there just to see if anybody else is interested, but y'all be looking for it because it is definitely coming. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I didn't know you were up in here. Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you for the talk. Y'all are welcome. So y'all know the drill. Always be kind and always love one another, but never forget to live your life. L.Y.F.E. Love yourself first explicitly. And I'll see y'all next time. Good night.
Living life is strange. Hey, hey. 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 Love yourself first explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living life is strange. Hey, hey. Living life